Man City and Inter Milan have only ever locked horns on one occasion over the years, and that was in the 2023 Champions League final held in Istanbul. The citizens were competing in just their third European final and second ever Champions League showpiece 2 years on from suffering a slender 1-0 defeat to fellow Premier League side Chelsea. As for Inter, they were competing in their 8th European final and 6th European Cup Champions League final, their first since winning the competition in 2010. One of the key moments from a goalless first half was the withdrawal of Man City's star playmaker Kevin De Bruyne due to injury, but that did not faze the citizens and they relied on another important midfielder to get them over the line. Indeed, Rodri scored the only goal of the closely fought contest, striking a composed side-footed strike from the edge of the penalty area into the bottom right corner on the 68-minute mark. Manchester City, Manchester United and Chelsea have all contacted Jorge Mendes to offer Lamine Yamal an irrefutable salary to lure the Spaniard away from Barcelona. His displays for club and country have persuaded Barcelona president Joan Laporta and sporting director Deco to make the renewal of the teenager's contract one of the priority objectives before the end of the year. A report in Spain claims the club chiefs want to ensure the long-term continuity of the great star of the team, who is considered the heir to the throne of Leo Messi, Yamal, who has been named among the 30 contenders for this year's Ballon d'Or despite his tender age. He is currently on a measly €32,000 per week, with his current deal set to expire in 2026. Therefore, many teams have already appeared willing to make a stratospheric investment to get him out of the Camp Nou and pay him more than double what he earns right now. The Champions League features Europe's best teams and players, and some of football's finest goals have been scored in UEFA's premier club competition. Cristiano Ronaldo leads the scoring charts in the tournament, having netted 141 times in 187 appearances for Sporting Lisbon, Manchester United, Real Madrid and Juventus. Lionel Messi is Ronaldo's closest competitor, with 129 goals in 163 appearances, though he will likely never equal the Portuguese's tally given he is playing in MLS for Inter Miami. No other player in the history of the competition has reached the 100-goal mark, though Barcelona's Robert Lewandowski has scored on 94 occasions. Kylian Mbappe showed his move to Real Madrid hasn't gone to his head during victory over Real Sociedad. Mbappe demonstrated exactly what kind of person he is by gifting his match-worn shirt to a ball boy after being substituted. The Frenchman, who made the transfer of the summer by moving to the Spanish capital after allowing his contract at PSG to expire, signed a deal until 2029, linking up with the likes of Jude Bellingham and Vinicius Jr. Despite being one of the world's top footballers and now playing for the Champions League holders, Mbappe showed a generous side after being replaced during his most recent match. After Olmo was forced into a premature departure from Barcelona's La Liga meeting with Girona on Sunday, ensuing medical tests confirmed a significant hamstring injury, the summer rival at the Camp Nou, in turn, is expected to miss between 4 and 5 weeks of action. As per a report from Mundo Deportivo, based on current estimations, the hope is that Olmo will return in time to face Bayern Munich in the Champions League on October 23rd. Should this prove the case, then the Spanish international will have been absent for a total of 7 Blaugrana matches. Real Madrid have accelerated their efforts to sign Alexander-Arnold by taking advantage of his current situation at Liverpool and have already closed a deal with the player to lure him for free. The report says the 25-year-old has decided not to continue at his boyhood club following the departure of Jurgen Klopp, so it seems the Merseyside club are on the verge of losing one of their star players. Alexander-Arnold, who was valued at around £67.5 million by Liverpool this summer, is a unique player, and Madrid are well aware of the fact that a player like him can make the difference. Liverpool will start their Champions League campaign with a trip to San Siro as they take on AC Milan. After last Saturday's heartbreak at Anfield, the Reds have to regroup quickly as they need a good start to their Champions League campaign. So it will be interesting to see what changes Arne Slot makes to his starting lineup for this Milan vs Liverpool game. Liverpool predicted lineup versus AC Milan: Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Diaz, Nunez, Salah. Ansu Fati returned to FC Barcelona in the last summer transfer window after his one-year loan at the Premier League side Brighton and Hove Albion. Flick can place him in 3 positions. Firstly, he can play as a centre forward, especially as there is no natural replacement for Lewandowski in the squad, even though Ferran Torres and Pau Victor can also play in his stead. Additionally, he can play on the left wing, his natural position, though Rafinha has been performing exceptionally well there this season. Furthermore, he can also take on the role of an attacking midfielder, where he faces competition from players like Dani Olmo, currently injured Fermin, Pablo Torre, Pedri, and even Rafinha. Vinicius' statements on the matter have ruffled up some feathers in Spain, with various government officials, ex-footballers and former managers all making comments about it. Some reports in Spanish media have even suggested that officials at Real Madrid are also not pleased with how the Brazilian has gone about the issue. According to Cadena SE, or those close to Vinicius claim that he is fed up with everything he has been going through recently. The Brazilian's inner circle has revealed that he is tired and that there is too much noise around him and everything he says or does. In fact, they believe there is a campaign against him, especially in Spain, following his comments regarding racism in the country. Vinicius feels that his statements have triggered a flood of false news aimed at destabilizing him. Among these rumours is one suggesting that Vinicius and Kylian Mbappe don't get along, which he has found particularly frustrating as the two share a very good bond. Real Madrid wonderkid Endrick has married his influencer partner Gabriela Miranda just months after details of their unusual relationship contract came to light. The 18-year-old Brazilian prodigy made a splash earlier this year by becoming the youngest player ever to score at Wembley during a 1-0 victory over England. Endrick arrived in the Spanish capital with huge expectations this summer, scoring once so far in his first season at Real Madrid. Team Talk have provided an update on one player heavily linked with a move to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They claim that Tottenham could be pipped to the signing of Real Betis defensive midfielder Johnny Cardoso by Milan. The Telegraph reported earlier this month that Spurs had secured a priority option to buy the USA international for £21 million next summer, as part of their deal to sell Giovanni Lo Celso back to Betis last month, albeit with a somewhat curious caveat. They would only have a 2-week window in which to sign him. Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson Becker has called on football's authorities to speak to players about their welfare as the Reds prepare to start an expanded Champions League campaign. UEFA's elite club level competition now involves 36 teams, which means an extra 2 matches in the group stage, which now does not finish until the end of January as opposed to mid-December. Alisson has taken up the mantle and said the players are tired of the ever-increasing schedule. For the supporters, it is amazing. More games, more bigger games, big teams against each other, he said ahead of the clash against AC Milan in the San Siro. Juventus have 11 Champions League debutants, plus their coach, Thiago Motta, but the former midfielder doesn't seem bothered by his team's lack of experience in European competition. Juventus will play their first Champions League game in nearly 2 years this evening, hosting PSV at the Allianz Stadium in Turin. The Bianconeri were eliminated in the group phase in 2-0, 2-2, 2-3 and were banned from European competitions last term. Tonight they host PSV with a young and partially inexperienced team in the competition. Arsenal midfielder Jorginho has said Erling Haaland's imperious goal-scoring form doesn't get to her head. As Mikel Arteta's side prepare for a trip to the Etihad Stadium on Sunday, the Italian added that Haaland's goal-getting habits are starting to make us laugh, with the Gunners unfazed by the prospect of facing the Premier League top scorer.